It's been over 6 months since my last update on this car, and I can finally talk about what happened with the engine and how it catastrophically failed on this Nightmare AE86 project I'm helping a friend out with. A little background on history on this because it's been so long since I put a video out. This is my friend's car, who he paid a shop in full to do a GTS swap, which involves yanking out the 4AC that comes with this, which is the carbureted engine, putting in the fuel-injected 4AG, some wiring and some other stuff. Well, the shop closed down in the middle of doing the swap and they never finished it. So my friend reached out to me and asked if I would be able to help him get it all done. And when I was getting it ready to fire up, the timing belt broke. Oh. And some valves bent. What happened is that this has a 20 valve 4AG bottom end, which has a higher compression ratio. You combine that with the 16 valve cylinder head, and then the 4AG, which is normally a non-interference engine, becomes an interference engine. And so what happened is the pistons hit the valves, broke the timing belt, bent the valves, all of that stuff. And the reason why it's been so long since I've been able to do an update is because we were waiting in the machine shop and waiting on funding to be able to get the cylinder head redone. The machine shop had to order new valve guides, had to order new valves, stuff that was actually kind of hard for them to find. And now we have it back, and they actually fixed a bunch of other little things with the cylinder head that I didn't even realize were bad. Here are the two valves that were replaced. So what happened, and this is kind of an interesting thing of how this failed. What happened is that there was varnish that glued these intake valves in place. I suspect the shop that went out of business, they were doing the swap and they let fuel sit in it for too long. The fuel turned to varnish in the intake valves. When I went to start it, the valves moved and opened, but got glued in that open position or just hung open just a little bit too long. That's when the piston hit the valves, bent the valves. The valves then cracked the valve guides when they bent and all of that horrible stuff. So now we're finally ready to put it together. Some of the other stuff they fixed on it as well, if you look real close at this bolt hole, compare it to this one, they put some time certs in because the threads were super boogered up. So we've got several of these bolt holes that were fixed on the exhaust manifold side. They fixed another one, I think the distributor mounting bolt. Yeah, see, look, with the distributor mounting bolt also had one. So lots of little things to fix it up. And now this cylinder head looks like it's practically brand new. Super cool. I'm just excited to get this going for my friend. He has been without this car for, I think, almost 2 years now. I've had it for almost a year. It'll hit a birthday in my shop here in July, and I really didn't intend for this to be a long-term project, so I'm gonna try and knock this out real quick over the next couple of weeks. So you'll probably see me in a couple different t-shirts as I'm filming, trying to get this together, but let's get to it. A little bit of brake clean on a rag is cleaning this right up. Definitely gonna need to scrape it a bit though, because it's still lots of junk on there. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. And I've definitely done head gaskets on blocks that look worse. This was all cleaned by hand, and I used razor blades, plastic razor blades, scrapers, everything to try and get it as perfect as possible. We have brand new OEM Toyota head bolts and washers. Just put a little dab of oil on them, on the threads and on the top and bottom side of the washers to make sure that they are properly lubricated. They're not going to bind up or anything as you're torquing them down. It is just a touch, just a itty bitty bit of oil, not a lot, because you don't want it to cause issues with the bolt head when it's tightening down, or with the threads or anything like that. You don't want to hydro lock it or whatever it's called on any of those. Exhaust bolts are longer than the intake bolts, so exhaust bolts are on. Now for the intake. Now we can torque them down. Now we tighten these guys to 22 foot-pounds, and then 90, and then 90. 22 foot-pounds. 90. There's 90. And now we do it one more time. Oh, don't like that. 10. That's done. Woohoo! Camshaft's going in. Cam seals in. Now it's time for the cam caps. A little dab of engine assembly lube. And we'll do a little bit on the cam lobes too. Now to just tighten down the cam caps here. Only 9 foot-pounds, real lightweight, not a whole lot of pressure on these. Oh no, those bolts are in the wrong spot. It helps you to put things in the right spot. Now, the valve covers can go on. Da-da-da. Cylinder head's bolted on. I started bolting up everything else, realized there's other things that need to get done on this before I can actually finish reassembling the engine. Like this water pump is just super duper crusty. So I've got a new water pump to go on it. We've got to do the timing belt. And then I think once we have those things on, we can actually finish bolting everything else back up to start it. But I forgot my tripod today, so you're just going to get snippets of the process of here's where everything is at. But let's go ahead and get going on it. Gotta take the radiator back out. No more radiator for now. Oh man. That's crazy. All right, let's take this timing belt out now that we've got the front cover off. Oh. Just, that belt is just absolutely shredded. Awesome. Well, that's garbage. Probably need to vacuum up quite a bit of timing belt dust and junk from in here. Let's get this water pump off. Oh, that's not fun. I gotta clean a lot of stuff off on this. Come on. Oh. You've got to be kidding me. I gotta clean all that off. It's got a paper gasket for some reason, and that's all disgusting. Awesome. This water pump housing is in really rough shape, so I'm gonna try and clean it up a bit with this aluminum brush here that goes on just a angle grinder, die grinder, whatever it's called. I'm gonna try and clean it up and we'll see if it gets any better, but I think I'm probably gonna have to send it out for walnut blasting because that's in really rough shape and that can cause continued issues with the cooling system and water pump failures. Because like this should be nice and smooth, shouldn't have any of this junk built up on it. All this needs to come off. I need to get all the gasket material off. I mean, even here in the thermostat housing side, it's pretty bad. I cleaned up some of the mating surfaces. This, I need to get a new O-ring for that, but that's no big deal. You can see that's nice and cleaned up too. Cleaned up this mating surface, but I'm gonna have to take this out, like I said, to get walnut blasted or something. So I got a buddy that's gonna do that. But I thought, hey, what the heck? I'll just go ahead and put the timing belt on because I can do that while I'm waiting on all this stuff for the water pump. But turns out I can't. Here's the intake cam gear sprocket. You can see here's the notch. Here's the pin for the camshaft. It aligns with that timing mark, right? Now for the exhaust side, it should be down at about this orientation, and that should allow me to line up the cam gear for timing. But no matter which way I put this on, I'm nowhere close. Like timing gears, or the timing marks are over here. If I rotate it this way, now the timing marks are down here, and I'm just going, what the heck? What is going on? So I'm comparing gear to gear. They should be the exact same for intake and exhaust. They are interchangeable. So, okay, here is the Blox logo. Here's my timing marks right here. So it should be, the Blox logo should be just to the right of the timing marks. And if I look at this, here's the Blox logo. Here's that to the right. But that's not, that's the opposite. They've assembled it, whoever has assembled it, wrong, with the timing marks over here instead of over here. You see that? And, well, I looked at the backside, I'm going, what the heck's going on? And then I see this bolt that's too long. Not only is it too long, but the bolt is bent. It is bent. So I was thinking, and the machine shop was thinking, the reason why the timing belt snapped and all the problems that I had were because the valves were gummed up from old fuel, and that might have been part of it. But if somebody put a timing belt on this and they assembled that timing gear wrong, and knowing that this engine is specifically an interference engine because it's a 20 valve bottom end with a 16 valve head, they assembled it wrong with the timing marks in the wrong place. And that could have caused all these problems too. So I got to get another set of cam gears for this. And I got to get a thermostat. And I've got to go get that housing walnut blasted. I've got to get a lot of things done. I thought I was going to be able to have the time belt on, the water pump on, all that stuff today in this video, but it's just not going to happen. This engine is just one headache after another after another. There was also tons of silicone on every single gasket for this. Like, just silicone everywhere here. You can see all the silicone chunks and flakes I've taken off over here. Just silicone everywhere. So I guess that's where we're at with this video. I guess maybe in the next one I'll finally get the engine assembled, but it's not happening today. It's probably not happening for a while, and I don't even know when it is when I'll have time to be able to get back on this. So that really sucks, and I feel really bad for my friend Albert, and I'm going to see what we can do to try and get this sorted out as soon as possible, but I just don't know. So yeah, that's all we got for Albert's car today, and that, man, that sucks. That really sucks. Guess I'll see you next time whenever that is. Thanks for watching.